Tom Feeks with a mouthful of crumpet.
Ooh, lovely buttery crumpets.
Beautiful.
I'm sorry for any noise. Do you want me to go mute for a second? Whilst I chew loudly.
Oh, it's weird doing morning records, isn't it?
Yeah.
So used to doing evening records. Got to think about what I'm going to do with the rest of my day.
You mean this isn't the pin? This is just the pinnacle of your day, Chris.
I think my day after this is going to be. Oh, actually, I know what my day is after this. I'm going to do some strimming in the front garden. I'm then going to do. Depending on how long that takes, I've got some green waste to get rid of, and then I'm going to go and watch the F1 movie.
Ooh.
Is that in IMAX?
No, Woodbridge.
Oh, very
Which
nice.
should be fun.
Very good.
I have no idea what I'm going to be doing. The kids aren't here. They're both on a Cubs camp all weekend, so I'm kind of at a loss. I actually have time, so
Sit down, drink beer.
Well, that's what I was doing last night. I'll probably head down to the allotment for a bit. And
Do you have an allotment?
I do. I hit that.
You are so middle class, so middle class with we every 5 years ago let's get an allotment. Yeah, that's a bit hard work.
Yeah.
Do what Tom does. Just give it to his staff to do. That's all you need to do.
Is that the old Hovis advert and the music that's in the background? Is that copyright free?
Let's have a look. What is the Hovis?
What do you have planned?
I just wanted you to tell us about your allotment, and I was going to put that lovely music in the background as you tell us about your days at your allotment.
No, I had some lovely letters from it last week.
Nothing like a podcast intro that is discussing copyright law and allotments, is it?
Yeah, brilliant.
This isn't good listening. Should we just start?
I do have a random Blood Bowl rumor if you wanted to.
Yes, go for it.
I heard a rumor the other day, and to be fair, this is very much only a rumor, about a new positional in the for the next season, about an actual kicker.
Ooh,
quite interesting. Just going to add that in to stir the pot about the thousands of speculation videos that I see online.
Isn't there a GW as well, pre-release or release announcement? One of the little showy things they do next week.
Yeah, Blood Bowl's not listed on it though.
It's not listed, so the odds are we're not going to get anything.
But then, isn't this how they did Gnomes? There wasn't. Yeah, Gnomes is sort of done the week after, wasn't it? Is that the one that came out of nowhere?
But what's the point? I like the idea of being of kicking from a kind of narrative point of view and like thematic and that. But how are you going to vary a kicker compared to a passer? What is the difference?
I don't know.
It's that if you kick the ball, you can kick it to a vacant square and not have a turnover.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I would think.
Maybe it's an extra action, a bit like the ogres, so you can pass and kick.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the only thing I'm thinking is there wouldn't necessarily be a turnover, so you could just hoof it into the backfield. I don't think it would take off though.
Tom, did you find out if that music's copyright?
It is not owned by Hovis. It is.
No, because it's based on a piece of class.
Yeah, it's called. It's the Largo movement from Anton Dvorak Symphony No. 9 from the New World. It is a well-known piece of classical music, and is used in Hovis commercial. Has made it iconic.
Is it open license?
While the music is not ad-free, in the sense that it is not owned by Hovis, the recording used in there is specifically licensed recording.
Oh right, yeah. So we can't do it. Okay, cool. What a waste of time.
We missed you had me tempted with the Tom Feeks allotment hour. There you go.
Well,
I tell you what we'll do, Feeks, after this is we will record a podcast that's just you talking about your allotment, and we'll put it up as a bonus podcast.
Seen the viewership plummet.
Right, let's get started. Play the intro. Hello, everyone. Welcome to New Dice Please, Bite-sized Blood Bowl podcast, brought to you by the people at Blood Bowl Live. My name is Chris. Joining me, as always, Mr. Scott Bryant. Scott, I've got nothing.
Triangle.
I've got nothing. I just said that whole bit, and I realized I hadn't thought of one. I've got nothing to ask you. So I don't know.
What's your favourite cocktail, Chris?
My favorite
Oh,
cocktail
nice.
is I do quite like a Cuba Libre.
Okay.
Also a Long Island iced tea.
Okay. Feeksy, what's your favourite cocktail?
Old fashioned.
Okay. Mr. Tom Hovell, what's most pleasing when your staff make you a cocktail?
just a standard gin and tonic,
No, that's not a cocktail. It's a drink.
isn't it? It's got to be. It's a mixture of.
I think a cocktail is I think technically a cocktail is multiple alcohols, isn't it? So
Yeah.
gin and tonic.
multiple alcohol. Yeah.
I'll go for mojito while Tom asks his staff, what's that drink they make you every night?
The one they crush my pills into. You know?
Yeah, there you go, Chris. I've stepped in to save you again. Don't worry. Thank you.
Scott Bryant, Tom Hovell, Tom Feeks, all here, ready to discuss some Blood Bowl witcherings as always. And this week, we're returning to one of our favourite games. It is League Friendly Stomp. We are going to look at 3 teams, and we're going to decide which one do we want to take for a league season, which one do we want to just play in a friendly tournament, and which one do we want to stomp under our boot. Tom and Scott do not know what teams I am presenting them with this week. I was having a little look through at the teams. I had a few thoughts. I thought about going sort of 3 teams that are kind of closest to, standard humans. I thought about going various skills sort of related. Thought about going for the 3 chaos teams, but I landed at one of our we have people who will have opinions on this, and I think we have people who we're going to annoy on this, because we are going to do stunties, and we're going to do in particular the 3 stunty teams that I kind of thought were the most comparable. I felt that snotlings and ogres were both slightly different or had different quirks to them, so we are going to go for halflings, gnomes, and goblins. So I think there's a lot of comparisons to draw between them, but kind of distinct differences between the 3. I will get us started then, and I think I'm going to start us off with gnomes, because I think gnomes are really interesting, and I was toying with, quite liked them in a tournament roster. I think you can do some quite fun things in a tournament roster. But I think I landed eventually, sort of thinking about where I would put everyone else, that I do think out of the 3, gnomes would be my league team.
Wow. Okay. And why is that?
I think it's because I think the jump up wrestle combo is really, really interesting. And I think that they come with that set of skills. Dodge can be your first skill quite easily. As far as progressing all of those gnomes up, it's quite kind of simple. I don't think you need to put too much thought into it. And I think it makes more sense and feels easier to give gnomes dodge than it does to give like halflings and to give goblins either wrestle or block. I'm now actually just going to, now that I've said that, having a look. So halflings, for example, halfling lineman, primary is agility, so block is a secondary skill. Gnomes, primary is agility, so you've already got wrestle, but then dodge is your primary skill. And goblins, just to complete the set, again, it's a primary agility. So if you want to give them block, it's a secondary skill. So it makes gnomes the easy, as far as the linemen go, it makes them the easier ones to skill up. I like the fact that they come with players with guard. I think it's a really interesting addition. And again, something that even if they're only strength 2s, makes them a little bit more resilient. The illusionists, I think, are quite fun. The foxes, I think, are brilliant. I think they're quite an interesting. They give you a little bit of jeopardy in a way because they are quite squishy, and once they've got the ball, they're keeping it. So you've really got to. I think that makes you have to think quite tactically about when you're going to use them. When are you going to pull the fox trigger and give the ball to the fox to run down? So there's things there to think about that. I think they are more interesting, and maybe more. I think more fun to develop over a season than the other two.
I fully agree with you, Chris.
So you're going
Shock
for
horror.
you're going for league gnomes as well, are you?
I'd go for. Actually,
Where are your gnomes going, Scott? Where are your gnomes going?
I want to keep them. They're my definitely. I know what I'm going to stomp. I'm going to stomp the halflings. I'm just putting that out there now. I'm not going to mess around. Stomp on halflings. The question is, what would I take in a league? What would I take in a tournament? Would I take gnomes or goblins? I think gnomes are going to give you better value, but then in a league, yes, they're better to. They're quicker to skill up to have that mix of the agility pathway and the general pathway, so you can get that, as you said, dodge wrestle combo relatively quickly. And if you take them to a tournament, how many skills do they usually have? Is it 8?
Well, they're normally.
SP?
I think some tournaments I've seen them as the highest place stunty, but I think that was very much when they were kind of early stages and people were figuring them out. But
Yeah.
they're going to be towards the bottom of your tier.
So, they can still have 2 trees. They could still have a star player, and they're then still, they are still going to be formidable. Goblins, the problem with goblins, yes, they've got access to the special weapons. Yes, you've got to rotate them, especially on tournaments, because, again, it induces the opposition coach to score very, very quickly. Although they're just maniacs, and it's just very, very funny. So I think my initial would be, like you, Chris, gnomes for a league, goblins for a friendly, but I'd specifically want to go in with goblins with a purpose. And the thing is, I wouldn't want to take goblins and just optimize the roster so I could take Morgan Skitter or something like that, sort of ilk of it as well. And then halflings are not my cup of tea, so I'd stomp.
We'll come back to goblins then in a bit. Feeks, where are you putting your gnomes?
I'd league them as well. Not necessarily because of anything they are. I just think the wrestle, jump up, the synergy with those two is incredibly unique. And I think you can brew up some really good teams with that. And if I was going to take a stunty team for the whole season, yeah, you have to accept you're probably going to get absolutely pummeled in some games. They at least have the wrestle there. There is the tiny bit of survivability, which is weird to say when there's a load of AV7 pieces, and then the Fox as well. But if they're that, and to be fair, the Fox sculpt is beautiful. I really like the idea of having the Fox in there. So yeah, they would be my league team.
Mr. Hovel, are we 4 for 4?
No, I'm going to stomp them. I really don't like them.
What
Get out
on earth? I mean, my shock here is more where on earth you're putting halflings if you're stomping on gnomes. But why don't you like gnomes?
Completely different to Feeksy on the basis that I really don't like the sculpts. I don't think thematically they fit into the Blood Bowl kind of arena. I find it really odd that a tiny little figure has a wrestle skill, so you can wrestle down a big guy. That does not sit like balanced in my mind. I think they'd much rather have fend as a natural skill or something like that, so they just stop out of the way or something like that. But wrestle is really odd. Again, I just don't really like them personally. There's nothing that interests me about them.
Doesn't it make more sense though for a gnome to be able to rest, like, because fend is like you get pushed back, but they fend you off so you can't follow up. Doesn't it make more sense that the little guy grabs onto your legs and wrestles you to the ground rather than keeps you in place?
Okay, an alternative was I'd much rather them have tackle, because actually they'll just get underneath someone and they'll trip over them, rather than actually a figure could actually go and just throw them around.
I guess that would make them a bit more like stunty dwarfs, wouldn't it, if they all came with tackle?
Yeah, because that's the funny thing, because what wrestle is what with a both down, isn't
it? Yeah, so you can counteract block with it.
You can counteract a block. What, a both as a POW? No, just a both down.
Just both down.
Just a both down. Yeah. So that to me kind of just doesn't really sit well with me. The Beastmen, I've just never seen them do anything really that well, because they're strength 2. They're the main target that you just punch on the line and they're out, and then guard's gone. The Fox, yeah, okay. But again, a little bit like Necromantic Horror, they've got no backup. They're just going to have to sprint down the pitch and just hope that they make it before someone catches them and breaks their neck. So yeah, to me, it's all a bit funny. And equally, the Trickster rule, I don't find that nice either. So that's my thing. I just don't like them full.
It's interesting you say, Tom, just going back to your comment there about the Beastmaster, because obviously they've got guard. Yeah, strength through the guard. And you say about why people put them on the line. Yeah?
Yeah.
Why do you this is the thing you've got to ask yourself as a coach. Why would you want to put a stunty with guard on the line? Because just use a normal dude on that, and then you don't have to take both. I can't remember the cost, but then you take that Beastmaster with guard as a supporting player. So not to just sit on the line of scrummies to get punched, but you take him as a supported player in terms of who's going to do your blitz. The Beastmaster goes with them, leading it to make that extra assist with guard. Boom! Then you've got at least so you'll have at least a strength 3 block or blitz action.
Yeah,
because I guess you'd normally have the trees on the line, wouldn't you? But I guess if for some reason you didn't have the trees, then maybe if you're up against a similarly low strength or just all strength 3 or low skilled kind of lineman, maybe you would then sort of put the guard in there. But I get your point. It's like, yeah, your normal setup is going to be those trees are going to be your front line. But
I think so. Just going back to your point on wrestle, I think it fits well with them. Because, admittedly, I've never gone out and tried to punch a gnome in the face, but
Lisa's kids readily take him down all the time.
Oh, exactly. They're probably similar sorts of sizes, and when I try, no, I'm not going to do that. No, but the idea of say you're taking a swing for a gnome, fends implies that they can put their hands up and push you back at the same time, or at least knock you back. But I kind of think it works, like the idea of if you swing for them, they're so small they're going to miss, but they're going to tangle up your legs at the same time.
So
I think it works.
Where I'm really intrigued now by where Tom's going to take this. So Tom, where are you putting goblins?
So goblins, I've actually put as friendly.
Okay, so I think we're all putting goblins as our friendly team then. So why is that then? Because I was a bit torn as to whether to put them for league or not. And I think I came to the conclusion that in some friendly games with all those secret weapons, or maybe even a tournament with the secret weapons, then you bring more secret weapons in, depending on the tournament pack and all of that. You can have quite a lot of fun, but would I get sick of the weapons failing, getting sent off, or would I get sick of all of that after a few games in a league? I think I could do it for a day in a tournament, but by game 3-4 of the league, do I want to do it for the rest of it? I think that's where I sat.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. That's exactly the same. It's survivability, isn't it? It's the fact is that if you take that, there's got to be a perfect number, isn't there? That if you take a certain number of secret weapons, it outweighs its usefulness. That you've got that point where you've got so many secret weapons, and it just happens to be a couple of bad rolls or good rolls for your opponent, and half the team's off the pitch, and then you've still got another 6 turns to go, and it's not a fun day out, really. And just sitting there going, okay, fine, I've got 2 trolls that will just be wandering around, be using run around me. Whereas both the gnomes and the halflings, you don't necessarily kind of nerf yourself.
I think this is where it's different styles of playing stunties, though, Tom, because as I said, everybody seems to do, and you've probably done this all, when you play goblins, people will max out their special weapons. So you'll get, at least 1 chainsaw, at least 1 bomber. So on average, you probably get 3, maybe 4 special weapons, secret weapons. And people start them all together, whether it's a loony as well in there. So whether someone takes fungus or bomber. My argument, because I do plan to, in the future, play some gnomes. Sorry, not gnomes, goblins as well as gnomes. Just don't start with all 4 on the pitch at once. And that's how you manage it and control it in terms of making that better. So at least then you've got, you're going to get at least 2 opening drives with at least 1 special weapon on, or just take loads of bribes.
Well, that's what I've seen when I've played against them. It's kind of that balance between how many bribes have you got, and depending on how many bribes you've got, how many weapons do you play? Yeah. So if you've got 2 bribes, then and you've got 4 weapons in your roster, say you've got the normal 3, and you've also got bomber, or you've also got someone else, then you take have 2 on. Have 2 on the bench, have 2 bribes. That's giving you at least 3 drives, assuming that you don't argue the call successfully. Feeks, where do you sit on the goblins then? Because you've put them as friendly as well. Are you kind of in the same camp here, or?
Yeah, I see them as a team that I could have fun with for a certain amount of time over a whole league. Yeah, because you're going to have those matches where you're going to be destroyed pretty quickly. But to be fair, we're talking stunty teams. That can happen to any of them. Pretty quickly. I'm painting up a goblin team at the moment, and I'm doing them because they look cool, not because I ever think I'm ever really going to play them. I may take them for a tournament at some point, but I think they are the epitome of bullshit Blood Bowl. The kind of, fuck it, I'm just going, chuck them in. Let's try to see if this works. Let's do it. Which works best if you're doing a friendly. You can't really do that in a league and be consistently competitive.
Because I think and again, I don't want. It's tricky. I don't want to kind of it to come across as goblin bashing, because I'd recommend anyone going back and listening to Stewbacker's hot takes, where he did a fantastic explanation as to why goblins are the best team in the game, and part of the kind of the absolute nonsense bullshit that you get with them, and the way that you have to play with them, and the fact you have to go into most games, coming back with a draw and treating it like a win. And actually, the kind of mindset that instills, that it's not all about winning, it's about enjoying it, and all of that. I absolutely think it's really important. I just think that you want to you never want to force yourself to play a team that you're not going to enjoy. And I think Feeks, like you said, and we all seem to agree on this, I enjoy the goblins in bursts, but if I had to commit to them for a long length of time, I would get drained.
Yeah, absolutely. I would be genuinely tempted to take them to a 1-day tournament at some point, just to see what I can do with them, what carnage I can cause. Except that if I can come out with 2 draws, then that's a fantastic day. But I would never do a 2-day tournament with them. that would be too much.
I think it's the fact is like all of these stunties, it's that mindset, isn't it? You know that you're going to be up against it regardless of which team you're playing. If you're playing in a tournament, you know, they are very much so different in style and play to like an Edge team or a Bash team that you've got to know those little tips and tricks and stuff like that. Like, you know, you need to know throw teammate like automatically in your head kind of thing rather than having to scroll through it. But I think with goblins, they go an extra further because you've got so many actually quite good pieces, you know, like the chainsaw, the ball and chain,
Pogo or the Doom Diver, both can be utilized really well.
But you have to know them. You have to know their advantages and weaknesses and get them into the right positions rather than keep them like, in the open and just splattered. So with all of them, I think kind of initial setup is very key, more key than say like a human team or an orc team, which are like, you know, starter teams sort of thing.
So what I'm most interested by now is, I said I didn't want a goblin bash, but I am absolutely happy to halfling bash. But before we halfling bash, Tom, I'm going to need to know why you're taking halfling. Be honest, is this process of elimination that you hate gnomes enough that you're going to have to put halfling somewhere? Because I'm just really intrigued, because as soon as you tell us why you've put them there, I think me, Tom, and Scott are going to go to town. So
there's two kind of reasons. First reason is, out of the three teams you've just mentioned there, they are more in line to what I'm used to as talking about play, talking about how you would play these and they're more, for me, I could potentially adapt my style of play quicker to a halfling team than a gnome or a goblin team. And then the second one is, I've got amongst my mountainous of grey, you know, pile of shame, I've got a really good chaos halfling team. Yeah. So I've got
is it these ones? I've literally
yes.
Oh, I've literally just got them out.
Says the man who's about to stomp on them. So yeah, so that's and for me that's half of the game, is enjoying playing with figures that you want to have on a pitch, and they are really, really nice looking sculpts. They're my two main reasons why I went for League. And the fact is, for me, I can see myself being able to know how to skill them up. Survivability on the pitch, as I mentioned before. They're also a cheaper lineman, so they're 30k rather than 40k on both the goblins and the gnomes. So yeah, that was my little plea for them.
Scott, halflings, what is the
okay, let's take a halflings. They are cheaper. Yep. So you might be able to get one extra player. Throw teammate. All of the others can do throw teammate. Goblins can do it better because obviously, especially whether you've got the Doom Diver. Nah, let's get rid. End of. Move on. Tom's wrong. Let's accept that and all move on. I can't think of anything else.
You were stumbling onto the right thing here, I think, which is that they are, as far as stunties go, they're the jack of all trades, master of none.
They're the OWA of the stunty world, Chris.
I was going to say humans. I wasn't going to be that harsh, but yeah, they don't throw teammate as well as the other ones do. I don't think they're cheaper, but they're not as good, I think, as the linemen that the dwarfs gnomes have, which also have more choice of positionals. You've got less choice, so you've got the linemen, 2 hefties, 2 catchers and trees, and that's it. Like it feels like they maybe need another positional. Like it feels like they've been left behind by the others. Like other than the ogres, which have the punters, the ogres, and then the noblars, and that's it. But that's a very different style of stunty team. Otherwise, it just feels like halflings have been left behind, and they're just other stunties have come in that are more interesting and more fun and slightly better, and they're just a little bit too vanilla. Feeks?
Yeah, No, exactly the same as why I put them in Stomp. And it's not because I don't like them. It's, I think, gnomes and goblins have that something different that makes me want to play them. There's just something about them that I'm just like, you know what, I probably would give them a shot. And yes, I've got the halflings team here. It's because someone in my league had printed them and was selling them cheap, and the trees just look absolutely incredible.
And you have a problem, Tom.
And I do have a problem. I'm not seeing the rest of the grey. But
Chris, you could have applied that statement to either Tom.
Yes, that's why I didn't use surnames.
that's why we indulge ourselves with the plastic crack instead. Yeah, I think the other two have something about them that grab me. It is halflings. Kind of feels like there's nothing that special about them. They almost feel like generic stunty. However, having said that, Tom, I do get your points. With the sculpts, you can get some lovely sculpts, and that is beautiful. I am curious, when you say about your play style, though, why would that not fit with gnomes? Goblins, yeah, fair enough. Goblins very different, but
I think it's the fact that it's that wrestle that irks me, and also these new skills that they've got.
Why does wrestle irk you, Tom?
I just find it just doesn't work with the thematics for me.
He's been hurt before.
Yeah.
I sense a therapy moment now. Tom, you're with friends.
Come on, Tom.
Relax.
Where did the badger touch you?
Where did the goose stroke you?
It's just that whole, for me, it's like, you go and blitz or block them, and you're like, oh, it's a both down. Great, I've got block. Oh, I'll choose wrestle. It's like, that's just a silly thing. That's just.
But if you're the gnome coach, that's a bloody great thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you were the gnome coach and you think some guy with block is going to think they're going to take you out, and you just go, nah, have that.
Thing is, though, I know that Tom isn't against wrestle because, but if you're thinking thematically, if that's the problem, then because I imagine, Tom, you would happily put wrestle on maybe a wraith. Wrestle is quite thematic, I think.
Yeah. And I suppose with wrestle, you will know better than me. Do you just both go down and that's it?
You just both go prone.
No
activation doesn't end. So the activation it's a turnover, and activation ends if the person who you're wrestling has the ball, because then they would lose the ball by going prone, and that causes a turnover.
Yeah, but then that to me is like, I just can't see it, because your block's bigger than a gnome. If wrestle, you just basically squash them. Maybe something silly. I don't know. I think something like stupid, like a pile driver, might be better for them, or something silly like that. Because that.
Whoa. You don't want to give gnomes. You don't want to give gnomes wrestle, but you want to give them pile driver.
What? You've gone from one end of the spectrum. You've gone from actually a really underrated, fantastic skill to absolute dog shit.
Yeah,
there's no middle ground here.
Because I just find they have no place in the old world at all.
Oh, you're a traditionalist.
Yeah, I just don't.
You were that guy when gnomes came out, the keyboard warrior.
Yeah, exactly.
Disgruntled from Suffolk. This is him.
Well, look, let's just give the other two stunty teams an honourable mention. All I want to know from each of you is, would you put one of them in one of those three League Friendly Stomp positions over one of the teams that you have already put in there? So, for example, I possibly would choose ogres over gnomes for a league team, because I think skinning up the ogres can be quite fun. And I think even though it is a bit of a broken build and it's known as a broken build, I think I would love to try in a friendly Snotlings with Morgan Hackflem to kind of feel how that broken build actually works. So I would possibly do some swap outs there. Maybe goblins would still be there instead of the Snotlings, but I'm not sure. So Scott first, is there would one of those two, the ogres or the snotlings, would you slot them in and replace one of these ones that you've picked if you had the chance?
Ogres possibly, because like you, I like the idea of the punter, and you can punt, kick, and throw. That's quite funny and thematically entertaining. No, then they're just going for basically the hack phlegm combo, hack phlegm Morg combo. No, I think it's just would you play without hack phlegm and Morg, Chris?
What, for snotlings?
Yes, sorry.
No, I don't think I would, but I think
And
that's
that's
why
the
I
thing,
would take
isn't
them
it?
in a friendly.
It's just a basic team that enables you to play these two megastars or a number of megastars, and that you wouldn't necessarily have the opportunity to play them.
But you would, in a friendly situation, though, you'd quite like it would,
It would be funny to play snotling on snotling with no star players. That'd be very entertaining. Yeah.
Just have
Mr.
every square of the pitch covered by riotous rookies.
Yeah.
28 players on the field.
Beautiful.
Mr. Hovel, would you swap out anyone?
Yeah, so I think I agree with everything Scott said, really, in regards to the snotlings. I've yet to play them, and we've got 2 in our league, in thing, and I think that this is also, if you're allowing megastars, you shouldn't be allowed riotous rookies, because that's a double whammy, because you're basically just building up a little green line of people that you just can't get past to get to the megastars, and then you're just jumping them over and just having a whack and then going back behind the line. So that's the bit that I think irks everyone. But I'd like to be that person one day and just irk people. So I'd probably maybe use snotlings in a friendly, and I'd quite like to do a snotling on snotling match one day, Scott. So if you've got snotlings, I've got them, so we can give them a go. That'd be quite crazy.
Yeah, happy to do that.
Ogres, again, I like them, but I don't know whether I'd play them.
Okay. Feeks, would you swap out either the ogres or the snotlings for anything?
I'm not sure where I put ogres, because I'd want to play them, but I don't know whether it would be friendly or league. But definitely not Stomp. I do want to get an ogre team at some point and give them a crack. I was going to absolutely stomp snotlings, and I still will, but a snotling versus snotling with no megastar. That is that is a very tempting match for me. And the thing is, it's part of the game, but it kind of feels like anti-Bloodbowl that they play. That it's just, and particularly if you're going into it with a team, if you don't have any block or tackle pieces, and they bring along a load of megastars, you're really gonna struggle. But it almost doesn't feel like, particularly over a league, it's like, oh, you're bringing another megastar. Oh, you're bringing another megastar. Oh, you're bringing another megastar. Right? Okay.
See, I'm gonna jump to Snotling's defense. Like I don't like playing them. I do not like playing against them. Like I don't like the swarming. Like Tom said, it does feel insane when they've got swarming and rookies, and every single drive you've got to face 14, no matter how many casualties you're getting. It is absolutely mad. And then when you bring in the stars, it is insane. But I think also quite a lot of the time, if you're playing a normal or standard team and you're playing in leagues, whatever, it's quite rare that you get to use, or it's quite rare that you get to use, especially some of the high value stars. I've only, I think my OWA team, I used Griff once, and I don't think I've not used him in any other situation unless it's been a friendly where we've just been like, oh, screw it, let's do whatever we want. So I think it does, like, that there is that aspect of it's a team that allows you to use all the stars. But I do agree, though, that there is that line where you are kind of playing the rules rather than the game, I guess, which is a really difficult balance. And a lot of tournaments sort that out through their tiering and their rules about what they do and don't allow. But I think you can only, even if you are just using stars, there is a ceiling to how successful you can be. You think you're going to upset some people, you're going to get some results when it all works. When it doesn't, then it does fail quite dramatically. So I never thought I'd be jumping to Snotling's defense.
I suppose
What have you become?
this could be another topic, which fixing broken teams.
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Okay, well then.
Not now.
That sounded quite M&S only M&S food porn there, food in your voices, and I thought Feeksy was the one with the breathing problems.
Well, if you've got breathing problems, if you've got an opinion
Please do
on
your
those
GP.
3 teams, if you think that we are all wrong and Tom's right and we should all be stomping on gnomes, or you think we're right and Tom's wrong and we should all be stomping on halflings, or maybe you are someone who likes to have halflings in a friendly, who knows? Whatever your opinion, if you want to get in touch and let us know, Mr. Scott Bryant, how can people get in touch with us?
Chris, people can get in touch with us to tell us, as you rightly say, whether they think Tom is right, Tom is wrong, if they want to talk about Feeksy's heavy breathing, if they want to tell us their favourite stunty team is probably Black Orcs, drop us a note. Usual address, usual email, usual rules, newdiceplease@gmail.com. That's new dice please, all one word, lowercase, uppercase, mixed case, even Comic Sans. newdiceplease@gmail.com. And Mr. Tom Hovell, if people want to see more maybe stunty and non-stunty hot Blood Bowl action, where can they go?
Absolutely. So you can get us on the socials under Instagram and Blue Sky under New Dice Please, and put some comments on, like some of the photos that we're putting up there. If you want us to follow you, let us know. We're more than happy to follow you. But equally, you can see some of our stunty teams going up against each other in the league on Blood Bowl Live. As well as seeing us, as well as hearing us on the podcast, New Dice Please, on Bloodbowl Live on YouTube, and also you can hear us on all the good podcasts as well. And I believe, Chris, you mentioned something about the fact that on Spotify you can also see us now on Spotify.
Yes, you can now watch us on Spotify. It makes my life a lot easier. So you can see our faces there as well. Tom Feeks, word of the day?
Bamboozle.
Terrible. Thank you very much, Mr. Bryant. Thank you, Mr. Hovell. Thank you, Mr. Feeks. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We have been New Dice Please, and we will see you next time.
You have the whole of the OED to choose from, and you go for Bamboozle.
Yeah.